Hi everybody, it's Lorena Perdomo, Lori Perdomo with mi Casa Tu Casa and National Real Estate. And today it's Thursday, we have our lives today. And as you may know, at this point, we have a series of education, talking about investment. We talked already about how to manage the property, what's the return that you will be looking, how to seed the net. So there is a lot of different information that we will be covering every single Thursday for the rest of the month of October. So if you think that this is a good information for you, your family, your friends, so just share it or link or click our YouTube channel, and so let's learn. So today's live, it's about how to invest either on single family homes versus multifamily homes. So I have a little bit here of information about what we will be talking. Everybody wants to start in this real estate business because they see a huge opportunity in the long term. So we're talking about passive income here. But most of the people are very concerned of either buy a new home, buy existing home, buy an apartment, or buy a building. So I personally like to go with a single family home because there is some difference and more benefits for me versus multifamily home. And that's what we are going to talk today about, the difference between these two. So everybody is different, everybody look a different way how to invest the money, and obviously the market also is different in different cities. So here in Orlando, Central Florida, there is more houses than actually buildings. So that basically market in different way depending what you're looking to buy or invest. Now, we are talking about obviously residential and not commercial. So we're talking about single family home versus have a multifamily home. So it's two different areas here. So for me, that we hold a little portfolio homes, make more sense to buy single family homes because number one, the returns. So when we're talking about returns, it's how much money you can net after you obviously pay all the expenses, and that's something that we already covered last week. So here, talking about returns, I like the fact that you can get higher returns. In Orlando, it can be between 10 to maybe 20% of return depending on the investment. So here you can buy houses between $120,000, $150,000, $180,000, really easy. And those can rent between $950, $1,000, and can go up to $1,500, depending obviously the location, the condition, and few different things. But here in Orlando, Orlando metro area, it's very high demand of houses, so that are basically the pricing on those particular houses in that price range. So the returns is very important because after you pay all the expenses, this is the money that you will be getting. Now, inventory, completely important here. So again, in this particular market, there is not too many multifamily houses that you can actually go and grab or invest. There is more single family homes available that you are able to get a good deal. For me in particular, I like to buy houses where you can negotiate and probably get 20% of equity. So let's say you buy a house for $100,000, you can negotiate it to 80%, obviously depending on the condition. And for me also it's important to put some money on it, invest it, and put it in a nice condition, new roof, new AC, plumbing, electrical part. So with that, I know that I'm going to have this house in a good condition for the next 10, 15 years, and I don't need to be doing any maintenance. So, and that's something that I cover here. So maintenance is very important because you can manage the maintenance by yourself. A lot of people trying to do it, and it's easier. The downsides of this is that probably you have one house here, the other in the other side of the city, or different locations. So sometimes it starts to be a little more complicated, but at the end of the day, you manage those maintenance. And the good thing on maintenance is most of those maintenance are covered by the tenant. So when you have a single family homes, the tenants start to feel like this is your real home. So most of them trying to improve the houses by themselves. They paint it, they maintain it, because they have that feeling of ownership, versus multifamily homes. Multifamily homes are basically apartments where people really don't care, and they don't do anything about the houses, and they want it to be moving because the life changed easily for them. So on a single family homes, most of them, the tenant cut the grass, maintain the house in a good condition, they pay for utilities, so it's easier for you as a landlord or as an investor to maintain those homes. Now on finance, very important, on a single family homes, there's more products available for you to finance those houses. So it's easy to get money from the bank or money for other sources to finance those properties. You can start with the 3%, 5%, 10, 20%, versus on the multifamily houses that you need to start with 25, 30%, depending on the condition. Resale, very easy. So you always need to be looking for an exit strategy on those particular investments, and the resale value or the resale is easier when you have a single family home than when you have a multifamily or a building. Now, something very good and very popular, there's not too many here, duplex, triplex, or 40 units apartments, but there's some. But the good thing is that you can get into one, live in one, and probably rent the other one. And if you do the diligence and be sure that you're doing the right thing, that other second unit or third unit will be able to pay the unit that you live in. And that way you can start, and probably in the future, you can actually move to a different house and rent all these duplex or triplex or the 4 unit that you have. So those are definitely a good areas, a good units that you will be looking. And that's completely different in multifamily, because when you compare multifamily with the single family, so most of the multifamily are like a building apartment, so investor, like big investors are looking more for those particular ones. So there is a lot of money that they wanted to invest, looking for a cap or a return. So it's more difficult to in reality compete with those, because they really have a lot of money. And there is not too many here. It's more apartment complex that are owned by different small investors. So it's very difficult to really get into a huge complex with a lot of units. I don't say it's impossible, but they're not that common. And then you need to compete again with those big investors. Now, when you're talking about multifamily, normally what they are looking is the cap return. So it's different with the single family home, because you know how much you're paying for the house. On the multifamily, everything is driven by the income. So the real value of the property, it depends on the income that generates that property. And the way that you can probably increase the value of that property is if you increase the rent or decrease the expenses. So it's very difficult to get into that good return if you you don't have a good experience doing it. So obviously, as I spoke before, the inventory is low versus the single family home, because there is not too many available. And those that are available, you need to be like really fighting to get in a good deal for that. And maintenance can be a little more expensive as well, because you really need to have a good maintenance crew that have to be maintaining the building, and probably you need to be covering for the expenses of the common areas. the parking lots, you may have utility bills, power, and light in all those common areas. You need to have a payroll to maintain all these big buildings. So maintenance can be a little more expensive on those, and also the tenants need to have continued maintenance on those particular units, so it can be more expensive than the single family homes. So there is some cons and there is some benefits in both of them. Obviously, the key here is the net, how much is the cash flow that you will get. So you really need to study both options and see which one made more sense to you. In personal, I really prefer the single family home or the duplex for up to 4 units because it's easier to manage. So it's a lot of information here, but if you wanted to learn a little bit more, just give us a call or follow us with all this series of investment opportunities and learning more about investments. So again, it's Lori Perdomo. I will see you next Thursday at noon with more valuable information. My phone number here is 407-913-9388, and we are Mi Casa Tu Casa, Florida, with National Real Estate. Ciao, ciao.